is fun on every day, and if it's not,
what? Every day should be a Friday?
if everyone's living for Friday, you got to look at your life, really, and go, what's happening? Because so many people live their lives
for the weekend,
or
for a later date,
because they just don't like what they do. So that's something to look at, and that's not one of the questions that was just like in there.
Right, living a life as a means to an end. You'll wake up and you'll be 60 or 70, going, "What happened to my life?"
Yeah, like waiting till you're retired to live your life, and then you've got health ailments because you've lived your life doing something you don't want to do, and then your body's revolting against you. Whoa, that's a whole big topic we can get into, but that's not the question.
We're here to answer questions.
And the questions are so good this week.
So juicy.
Amazing. Thank you for all these wonderful questions. So number one, functional medicine is not usually covered by insurance. What is your suggestion about how I can afford functional medicine when it is not covered?
You go first.
Okay, so I'm going to say things because I'm happy to be controversial. Paul is less so. So here's the thing, and we want to
good cop, bad cop.
We want to preface this is that nothing we ever say is medical advice.
Yeah, don't listen to us.
We do listen to us, but
don't do what we say.
But with a grain of salt, you have to
check with your doctor. Fire your doctor.
No, fire. Yeah, check with your doctor. Fire your doctor. Here's the thing.
Be your own doctor.
We help people advocate for themselves and to understand and to not blindly listen to anyone, including us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you have to, no one person is the same as another.
That's right.
And every single human biology is different and needs different things depending on the trauma you've experienced, depending on the life you've experienced.
Even your blood type, where you're born.
All of it.
All that.
All of it. So you have to be your own detective, and that's what we encourage people to do and empower people to do. Mm-hmm. So what is the difference? So a functional medicine doctor will look at your entire body and all of the systems that help. So
it's root cause based.
Yeah. So you look at it like a garden, like, oh, there's weeds over here. This thing needs to be trimmed back. Oh, this needs more sunlight. This needs water, fertilizer. Yeah. So it looks at it like an entire organism of how do we make this garden thrive and be beautiful, and what needs to be planted next to each other so it pollinates. And so it's just like looking at it from a systemic approach of all of it, of how to make it all work, right? Because if you have palm trees and then shrubs and then like flowers, and your garden's gonna be a little odd. But if you choose the vibe, I want bees, so I'm gonna have a flower garden. So you wanna actually look at the whole system.
That's right.
And figure out how it works. And that's what a functional medicine doctor will do. They'll look at all of it and then find root cause and then go for that. Now, medical doctors are amazing.
If you're
amazing,
if you have a plane wreck or something.
If you have a trauma that needs to be dealt with immediately, you want Western medicine on your side. The reason that the problem is many years ago, it was taken over by a bunch of people that wanted to control the narrative. And so all the things that are natural and our body has a synthesis with, herbs and all the things that seemed like quackery and witchcraft, those things worked for millennia. And there was some things that couldn't, like penicillin being introduced, all of these sorts of things that came into the fold through Western medicine. Some of them were brilliant. Some vaccines are brilliant. Like some things are really brilliant. And so you want to, there's certain things it was great for, and unfortunately now doctors are in a litigation loop where all they're allowed to do is prescribe medications that are made from synthetic materials that do not work for your body, like oil,
they're all
petroleum.
Mostly are petroleum.
We're not
based.
machines. We're freaking flowers. So that's that or cut. That's that their liability insurance, that the things that protect them.
They can't tell you to go eat well for prevention, and that stuff's not covered by insurance either.
And also, as been highlighted by Casey Means, who is the new Surgeon General of America, she's like, we get 3 hours of nutrition advice in our entire doctorate. Like, I'm talking 6 to 8 years.
I think it's a week. It's not 3 hours.
No. I thought it was 20 hours. She said it's 3. It's
3
crazy.
hours?
It's crazy. So
nutrition,
they
like,
don't even understand
not the
how,
first thing about prevention or eating right.
of using food
it's not
as
their job.
for healing. It's not their job, right? And so
And
therefore it should be because it heals, and that's why she's doing what she's doing. But because there's many surgeries that don't need to happen if you just knew how to take care of yourself. So yes, functional doctors are not covered, but do you want to take advice from someone that is looking through a lens that is very limited? Or do you want to take your advice, or do you want to spend the money on the number one asset you have, which is your health? Because your health goes and forget about it. You can have a million problems, but your health goes, you got one problem.
Yeah.
So do whatever you need to do and spend the money on a functional medicine doctor, because you're going to get an overview of everything. Now you can get a functional medicine doctor, and then you can supplement a little bit with whatever your insurance covers.
And train up your Western doctor on what you want, and you'll at the very lowest level, or the worst case, you'll get to understand your body and maybe to ask better questions.
Yeah.
And then you'll get to sniff out your doctor if he's really the one for you, and you'll become your own health advocate.
Yeah.
And you'll understand that they're just treating symptoms, and there's a really bizarre financial loophole or a loop back system between insurance companies and doctors, because you would think if I was an insurance company, I would want to pay for functional medicine because it's prevention, and it'll keep my patient from costing me the $5,000, $50,000, $500,000 surgery if we can spend a little money in prevention. But there's a kickback system and a really crooked financial system in the agency capture. It's just gnarly.
It's so bad. I mean, I come from Australia, and
this is from our perspective and our learning. You could probably speak to somebody who knows a lot more about this. We know just about enough of this to get us in trouble.
Stop. We know plenty about it. I come from Australia, where every single surgery is free. Every single
Canadian.
surgery.
It's the same here, but you have to wait 3 years.
You don't, like, if it's emergency, you get seen immediately.
Yeah.
So, like, you have a car accident, or like it could be, what is the equivalent to $1 million worth of surgeries here, and it's completely free over there. So,
sure.
So there is
not free. You pay for it in your taxes. It's not free.
I mean, there's no taxes that are gonna be more than $1 million. Everyone's like, oh, we don't pay as many taxes, and it's better. And it's like, you pay so much in health insurance.
Sure.
It is ridiculous.
Well, and
that you think you're saving on taxes. It's insane. So no.
Kate's not passionate about this.
I'm very passionate, because you cannot be free. If you are gonna lose your house because you break your arm, or because you lose your income, like, you're not free. I'm sorry. So, like, free healthcare is freedom. It truly is. And whatever you think about it, like that, like, if you have to worry about getting sick and losing your house, or not being able to pay your bills, losing your job, that is not freedom. It's not, no matter what place you live in.
Okay,
so
next question.
So anyway, anyway.
So a suggestion is
functional medicine is highly important.
Yeah.
And just to educate yourself in the other ways.
Yeah.
And then you can educate your doctors. Listen, there's so many doctors that are amazing that they're like, oh, this works? Great. There's so many, and we've helped our clients educate so many of their doctors, and they've had amazing doctors that were excited by it.
That's true.
That were like learning something, and they're excited. They're the good ones. If your doctor's an arrogant twat that is like, oh, that's quackery, then you need to fire them. And we also teach people how to fire them.
Yes. So instead of ordering in on your Uber Eats, take that money, put it in a piggy bank to invest in your health every month, and you create your own health insurance
Cancel
fund.
the soda subscription.
Yeah. Or just start paying attention to the things you're willing to waste your money on, and put your health ahead of that, and just create a little preventative plan, and look at what you're spending money, and just shave off 2% or 3% monthly for your health care prevention. and understanding root cause, so that a functional doctor will look at your blood and tell you if 5-10 years down the road you're headed for an iceberg. Western medicine, once you've hit the iceberg, they will give you some medication to help fix your...
Or like, let's get this surgery, which now is going to cost you $40,000, $50,000. And
so you'll pay now or pay later.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Pay now or pay later.
And that's our time.
That's the reality. Oh my gosh, doing restaurant. I'm passionate.
You are so passionate. I love that about you.
Okay, the next one. What are the dangers of taking statins? They are prescribed so much in this country.
Yes.
Not just this country, many, many countries.
Yes.
Now, I want to be very clear.
We're not giving you advice.
Not giving you advice, and
I played a doctor on TV.
And I'm gonna tell you what my personal story around it. So statins is prescribed when your cholesterol is high, which is we read a lot of blood work because of our clients. Our clients get their blood work done, and we read a lot of it. And there is not a single client that's ever gone through that hasn't got some kind of cholesterol issue.
Yeah,
so I just want to preface that, including myself, who is healthy, lives on an organic diet. Like, there is no reason why I should have elevated cholesterol. Well, but I did. And so what I did is I went to one of the best heart doctors in LA, and I went there.
She fought him. She wrestled him to the ground.
I went there so I could, because I'm not afraid.
She's not afraid.
I'm not afraid of that, and I know who I am, and I know my health, and I know how to advocate. But I did it as an exercise to understand what my clients might be going through, right? And so.
And your numbers were high enough.
My numbers were high enough that I was like,
to make sure you didn't have a high cholesterol or a high calcium score.
And the first time I was arrogant. I was like, whatever, they must have got it wrong. And then the second time I was like, oh, they're still up there. I should look into this and I should check, because you shouldn't be ever arrogant about your numbers, and everyone should know their numbers. If you're not getting blood work, you should be. And it's very expensive in this country. If you want to do it the right way, contact us. We know all the tricks. Anyway, so I went there and we went through all the things, and none of the indicators were there of any of the problems that should be there for having high cholesterol. And then we got to the point where he's like, and I had the MRI, and I had all the things, right? And then he got to the point of saying, well, I'd like to put you on therapy. And I'm like, let me guess, you want to put me on statins? And he's just like, well, and I was just like, he's like, you're going to be fine for the next 10 years, but as a prevention. And I was like, as a prevention, you want me? I was like, what about the myriad of health issues that comes with that? And he tried to argue with me that there wasn't. And I was like, are you reading this from the medical journal that actually like creates the drug? Because there are plenty. And so we had a fiery match, which was fabulous. And he actually was really great about a lot of things. He apologized afterwards, and I said, I'd be upset if you weren't fighting for what you believed in, or if you weren't fighting for it. And by the way, in the middle of the argument, I said, because my functional doctor had prescribed red yeast rice for me. This is a story about me, for me. But he prescribed red yeast rice to me, and I said, by the way, I started taking red yeast rice, and without a half a second of a beat, this number one doctor in LA turned around and said, oh, well, if you're on that, then your cholesterol will already be reduced. And I was like, really? And he's like, well, statins is derived from red yeast rice. And I was like, so why would I take the synthetic version instead of the version that it was created from?
Yeah, man.
And he's just like, well, and it was kind of like about it. And anyway, I have been taking red yeast rice since then, and all of my cholesterol has dives in all the right directions. Yeah. So there is always a way, and that was the functional medicine doctor that gave me that. And then I'm watching my numbers. I do blood work regularly. I'm watching my numbers. I'm watching all the things. So there's always a way around it. And this is something, we don't know your personal situation. maybe at a certain level, statins is the way you need to go. But if there are other ways, there is always another way, no matter what you're dealing with. Stage 4 cancer, or it doesn't matter. There's always more alternatives than what you're given. And don't ever let anyone give you a death sentence, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. They're not God. They don't get to play that. And there's always ways around things.
Well, 40 years ago, a healthy cholesterol was in the 300s.
That's the
And then
reality.
in this late mid-70s, when statins were introduced, all of a sudden, you needed to have a much lower number of cholesterol, so they prescribe statins, and they keep lowering what healthy cholesterol is as they increase statins. Now, what's the other interesting hockey stick here that's gone up in the last 40 years is Alzheimer's dementia, because your brain actually needs cholesterol for it to be a healthy brain. Your brain is made up of cholesterol.
Yes.
And so this rise of statins has also brought up a brutal rise in Alzheimer's dementia. And so, of course, you'll never hear about that in Western media, but you will if you talk to a functional doctor, because they're trained to look at root cause. And they're trained to look at data they're not being paid by insurance companies to keep you in a certain state. So that's the long and short of statins.
Yeah. So
It's
the numbers
look it up for
used to be
yourself. This is not
like
advice.
300 normal, and now they're trying to get you below 100. And below 100 is not healthy for your brain.
Below 200 is not healthy.
So like you read between the lines however you want to, and
you can follow your own
and
rabbit.
listen, and you can talk to your doctors about this and just say, hey, what about this, and why is this, and like just get curious.
Yeah.
They'll actually enjoy it. If they're a
Maybe.
good doctor, they'll enjoy it, because it's, instead of everyone blindly following them, it's like gives them something to think about. So do your own research, but we wouldn't want our people to be below 100 in their cholesterol. We just
Heck
wouldn't.
no.
It's
No,
not
it's-
healthy
you need it
for
for your brain.
We
Higher
want good brains. We don't want dementia. Like, what's the point of
Yeah.
having good cholesterol if you can't use your brain?
Yeah, and healthy cholesterol is a much different number than they're trying to scare people into using statins about. So that's we can't talk too much about that.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
Kelly Belly, Mediterranean diet, if you're, is one of the greatest things, and they have about half a cup of olive oil a day. Like, it's poured onto everything. So really look into that. There's so many ways in which to navigate dementia on a health level.
Yeah,
Obviously,
just cut out any inflammatory things
Yeah.
like sugar and wheat and dairy and a lot of things that are going to add inflammation.
yeah.
Good vegetable forward and fiber forward and protein forward diet and good fats too. Mushroom coffee, all mushrooms that are grown in labs are not created equal. So a lot of them are grown in oats, and you have to look at what the mycelium is grown in. That's the most important thing. It might be organic, but if you have to check to see how the mushrooms are grown. If they're grown in nature on actual trees, you want those mushrooms. You don't want the ones that are grown in oats. The cheaper ones are going to be grown on oats. The more expensive ones are going to be grown actually in a shady part of a controlled environment of a forest. So that's a mushroom. There's so many longevity and mitochondrial benefits to certain types of medicinal mushrooms. But every mushroom doesn't work for every person, just like every food doesn't work for every person.
Every
So
medication doesn't work for every person. You have to, everybody is different, and that's the beauty of these bodies.
Yeah.
So when we're going to, studies of medicines are done on averages, and it's like, are you an average person? What's an average person? We're not.
Right.
We're all different. So
Right.
every single thing doesn't apply. If something worked for Judy, doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And you're like, why
What
don't
about Maud? Aunt Maud?
and Maud. So we're bio-individual, and it's like finding out what works for you is what we care about. It's what we teach our clients for.
Yeah.
All right. Is coconut water something you recommend? I love coconut water because it's delicious. If you are trying to release weight, it's not something I recommend doing a lot of. It's got a high sugar content. It's really great for electrolytes. It's really hydrating. If you are dehydrated, it's wonderful. And it's not all created equal either. You need to have organic coconut water, the stuff that kind of comes at Trader Joe's in like
plastic
in the big, you know, all the stuff that you buy in the big Tetris packs type thing, like juice packs, generally not good.
Try to get a coconut if you can.
Yeah, and anything that has anything like coconut extract or anything but pure coconut water is no bueno. Like it's filled with sugar and stuff like that. So you have to be really careful about what coconut water you're getting.
Yeah, but if you just did a huge hour walk and you want to get some good hydration, have like 4 ounces of coconut water and 16 ounces of water rather than 16 ounces of coconut water, because you just will completely erase your walk with 1 glass of coconut water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High sugar content, but great electrolyte. If you're unwell, like if you've been vomiting or you're like
don't
struggling,
take that Pedialyte crap.
No,
or
don't
Gatorade.
touch it. Do electrolytes. Don't ever go near Gatorade.
Or
that stuff
Pedialyte.
is horrendous.
Yeah.
Or Pedialyte. Yeah, no, don't do that. And give it to your kids. Do not do that.
The next question is about Keon protein powder.
Is Keon protein powder on your recommendations good for the average person to use in a smoothie, or is it more for bodybuilding? Can I debunk this really quickly? Protein powders are not for bodybuilders. They are for everyone. And I really, like, I have been on this deep quest lately for women 38, 60 to 65, you know, going through perimenopause, menopause and postmenopause, and there is nothing more important than building muscle. And we are coming through this era where we've been sedentary. Our parents and our grandparents were not. They had to work just to wash clothes. They had to wash poop out of cloth diapers. They had to work just in the daily life was much more physical. We are in this sedentary phase, so if you don't start building muscle now, we are all gonna be in big trouble. Like, and the biggest cause, and everyone thinks muscles like bodybuilding, it takes a lot to build muscle. You have to work really hard, and you have to
I work at it all day.
You have to, and look at you. You have to feed your muscles, and like everyone should be having, you know, roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight you have. And so
from 0.6 to 1, just depends on how active you are. And
getting 100 pounds of protein in a
100
day,
grams.
100 grams is hard work. You might think, a little like a protein
shake. An egg
shake
is only 6 grams of protein, which is gnarly.
You have 2 eggs and you're only at 12. You should be aiming for 30 grams of protein for every meal you have minimum.
Lindy just shared an email with me. She goes, I love my growing muscles. And Lindy, you're in your late 60s, around late 60s somewhere, in her 60s. And she almost fell off this thing, but because
she climbed up on a wooden folded chair, and then it folded while she was like reaching up to change her bowl.
Threw her body against the wall, twisted her ankles within themselves, and because she's been building her leg muscles and walking, but also learning, like getting stronger, she was able to like squeeze her muscles and kind of untwist her ankles and straighten the chair out, from what I understood.
Do a squat and
squat out of it and sit down and just be like, literally, her muscles saved her from a broken hip or a broken wrist or whatever.
Yeah, and so muscle is the thing that will save you, because one of the leading causes of death in elderly people, and we're talking 50 plus, not even elderly, right? Is you break a hip or you break a big bone and you don't recover. And that's because of muscle atrophy, which if you've been working on computers a lot or watching too much TV, you're atrophied. So in order to build muscle, you have to eat a lot of protein to build that muscle. So, you know, you could have 2 to 3 protein shakes a day and you're still not a bodybuilder. You know, like you need a lot of protein in order to sustain your body. And guess what? Protein and your muscle mass is a direct reflection of your bone density. So the more muscle you have, the more bone density you have, and bone density is what we need. We do not want osteoporosis. We do not want fragile bones.
Yeah, and your muscle is also a reservoir for glucose. So if you eat something on the sweeter side, the more muscle you have, it's like a absorbent. It's a reservoir for glucose. So You want to prioritize that. And protein, Keon's a great, Keon, to answer your question.
Yes.
Keon's one of the cleanest in terms of heavy metals, and with the most bioavailable in the way they run the company, where they source their grass-fed whey from. And I would prefer that everybody would get it from their food. It's just really challenging to eat that much food in your day. So amino acids. There's Keon also has amino acids that you could take throughout the day, and then on top of it take some protein, but make sure you're getting you're actually getting real food protein on top of it, because just having powdered protein is not going to get you there. It's not. No, it's a lot for your kidneys to deal with too. So you guys, this process of becoming stronger, fitter, younger, leaner, more agile and flexible, it's a daily discovery and a lifelong enjoyable commitment to learning.
Do we have our muscle? Could we post our muscle build pack on here? So we have a muscle build page because we care so deeply about.
It's in the program, isn't it?
We have a link. I have a link right here. Because we care so deeply about muscle build. I mean, and it was something I was like, whatever, like it didn't matter, didn't think it mattered, and now I'm crazy about it because creatine, everyone thinks is for bodybuilders, but it is essential for women. It is so essential. 5 grams a day of creatine. So those things, amino acids, it's so essential now, and we're not getting enough nutrients out of the soil, out of our foods. So we're needing these little extra things just to continue to build. Now, you don't just
can't post links, but they can comment the word Keon.
Oh, comment Keon. We will send you a page which has all of our favorite products.
No, it's automated. So you'll get a link to my Keon page.
Oh, really?
And on the Keon page, just hunt around, and at the top, just make sure you see my name, so you'll get a 10% discount. It was 20%, but I think that sale's over.
Yeah, the sale just finished. But yeah, and Keon also another thing on Keon. It's delicious
and nutritious.
It doesn't make you toot. A lot of protein powders make you toot a lot, and they really tear your gut apart. And it's low in sugar. A lot of protein powders have crazy high sugars, and if you're trying to release weight, that is not what you want. So you don't want the metals, you don't want the sugar, you
don't want the toots.
Good, and you don't want the toots.
I mean, I like the toots.
I know you like the toots.
I feel so proud of myself sometimes. But
I know I'm like, excuse me,
and I'm
rude.
Rude. Well, at least I have a 3-year-old boy taking after he's learning my ways.
Yeah, he's on 2. Yeah.
Well, that's our time, everybody.
Passionate and fiery.
Yeah. It's that's what they call it.
Oh, there's Katie. Hi, Katie. Toot, haha.
Is that
so American. That's Katie Huff.
Oh, Katie Huff. Hi. Okay, guys.
I mean, Australian would be fart, which just feels wrong.
Good old
fart.
Well, we will catch you guys next Friday. We're doing this as a bit of a thing.
Ask us anything.
And then
I'll get fiery about it all, and then Paul will try and placate it.
I'll try and placate it.
Yeah, no, be like, we're not giving advice.
No, yeah, I'm the voice of reason.
He's the American side. I'm the Aussie side.
I'm Canadian, for crying out loud.
I mean, yeah, but you've been in America for a long time.
America. I got 2 American boys. I should write a song about my 2 American boys.
My American boy.
That's right. So there's another thing you can comment, you guys. If you're seeing this video on YouTube or Facebook later in the future, or I think on TikTok it goes away, but if you're seeing this later, you can also comment the word freedom if you feel stuck, or you want some coaching, or you want to see one of our, we have a few different programs. We have a program that meets weekly.
If you want this passion every week.
Comment freedom. And we'll send you, we've been working on this incredible company that Kate started, Freedom Alchemist, for the last 5 years. And
7 now, baby.
7.
I'm
my ability with time. Okay, April, we'll say you'll get a message and you can check it out. Mm-hmm. Is it automated, Ruth? I sure hope so. If not, we'll track you down. And so Kate started this, And we've worked with over 1,000 women and helped them
And some men. And some good men.
Oh, I should plug in my phone.
A few good men.
A few good men. And it's just been an amazing journey of discovery and giving women and especially
And a few good men.
And a few good men.
To their life back.
And getting a good set of skills and tools to get their life back, but also to have power with their doctors, and have some power around this.
And when you feel good in your body, the confidence that you have, the level of like limitlessness, it's, I know people always think, a lot of people come to us because they want to deal with their weight. And listen, the weight is a side effect. Yeah, I know it feels like the thing because we have a society that's all about this. He's trying to kick me off and I'm trying to get on my soapbox.
No, get off your soapbox. I got a live in 10 minutes.
I'm going to do it. But I just want you to know it's a side effect. And side effects, when you think of it as a side effect, it becomes easy to just go away. Because when you deal with the root cause, that all vanishes. So weight is a side effect. It's not the thing. But if you're struggling with that, you don't know where to go, then we're a place to go.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Catch you all next Friday at this time. And for those of you who are in our journey with us, we'll see you on Tuesday. And we love you guys.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Take me on a trip. I want to go somewhere.
I don't know how to end this one. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. That little thing. Your font is so small I can barely see that one. Bye, everybody. Catch